Hi, welcome to Spencer's Library.
I'm Claudia.
And I'm Charlie.
Today we're doing the second part of our Women in Harry Potter series, and today we're talking about Merope Gaunt. So just a content warning, we will be touching on subjects such as domestic violence, sexual abuse and rape. If you don't want to watch this, then just skip this video, because obviously there will be quite a lot about those topics in this discussion.
Yeah, you can't really talk about her without talking about that.
There will be spoilers about the entire Harry Potter series in this video, so if you've not read Harry Potter yet and you don't want to be spoiled, then also don't watch this.
Yeah. So, you wanted to talk about her, so hit me. What is it you wanted to talk about?
I think she is one of the most interesting characters in the entire Harry Potter series, and she only features in about 2 chapters of the Half-Blood Prince, yeah. Shall I just start with reading the way she's introduced?
That is not the Half-Blood Prince.
I know, it's here. Got my little flags in there. So the first time we meet her is in memory of Bob Ogden that Dumbledore shares with Harry, and this is how she's introduced. There was a scuffling noise in the corner beside the open window, and Harry realised that there was somebody else in the room, a girl whose ragged grey dress was the exact colour of the dirty stone wall behind her. She was standing beside a steaming pot on a grimy black stove and was fiddling around with a shelf of squalid-looking pots and pans above it. Her hair was lank and dull, and she had a plain, pale, rather heavy face. Her eyes, like her brother, stared in opposite directions. She looked a little cleaner than the 2 men, but Harry thought he had never seen a more defeated-looking person.
Wow.
I know. I mean, you know it's bad
Yikes.
when even the pots and pans are described as
squalid.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I'd forgotten how bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
The whole sort of description makes you want to sort of step away and wash your hands, doesn't it?
Yeah, or I mean, in Bob Ogden's case, in this entire scene, he clearly wants to help her. You know, he helps her out when she breaks a pot or something, because she's so terrified of her father and her brother.
Yeah.
So we can see instantly that she is not happy in that house, that she's being mistreated, that she's being abused. So did that make you feel sorry for her?
See, this isn't fair. Okay, so earlier, Claudia and I were discussing this video.
Yeah.
And Claudia said, you know, obviously she did some stuff wrong, but I've always felt sorry for her as a victim.
That's not quite what I said.
That's mostly what you said.
I said she's a victim who then goes on to do horrible things.
Okay.
I definitely feel sorry for her at this point.
See,
in the story.
I haven't read it in a long time, so I guess, you know, I've never managed to feel sorry for her.
Because of the things she does to Tom Riddle Sr. later on.
Yeah, that, and I don't know, there's just a sort of, it's going to sound really horrible, but a weakness to her that's bothered me. And obviously, with how badly she's been treated, it's not her fault that when she's in that house, she's that way. Of course she is. How could she not be? But later, when, doesn't she die just after giving birth?
She dies. Actually, I have got that bit there as well, because I think that's, again, a really striking thing. She gives birth in the orphanage and then dies pretty much immediately after. And when Dumbledore tells that to Harry, he has got a very similar reaction to you. So Harry says, she wouldn't even stay alive for her son.
Yeah,
and that's the sort of weakness that you're talking about.
That was the big problem I had with it. It was the idea that she was so enamored with this man that her entire life was about him. She couldn't even move that and live, because okay, I get it, you can't live for yourself. She had never been treated as a person. She'd been just treated as a tool and a toy by her family. Yeah. So I get not being able to find a way to survive on that. Like Harry says, she couldn't even stay alive for her son.
See, I completely disagree with you there. I think that is the most tragic thing about her, that she has lost the will to live. We know how debilitating some things that are just going on in your head can be for yourself.
Yeah.
If you lose the will to live, then a baby isn't going to give you that back.
No, definitely. I know that. But what I mean is that she put all of her focus and all of her life on one man. Yeah. She manipulated him, she abused him. It's a really interesting cycle, the idea of the abused becomes the abuser.
Yeah, which doesn't excuse the abuser. But it goes part way of explaining the abuse.
Yeah. Once she lost him, she lost
her drive.
In a way, he was a toy to her, I think, as well. A crutch as well.
I see it slightly differently. I don't see it as a toy. I see it as an escape.
Okay.
So can I read you another part?
Yeah, go for it.
This is again from that first memory. when Harry's watching her interact with her family. And her brother says, "She likes looking at that muggle. Always in the garden when he passes, peering through the hedge at him, isn't she?" Dumbledore later explains, "Once Marvola and Morphin were safely in Azkaban, once she was alone and free for the first time in her life, then I am sure she was able to give full rein to her abilities and to plot her escape from the desperate life she had led for 18 years. Obviously, she has got a strong emotional attachment that ends up leading her to basically drugging and not just raping Tom, but controlling his mind in a way that's kind of even more sinister, isn't it? There's this mind control, there's this not giving him the choice. It's not just
the physical act of rape, it's the mental rape.
Yes, yeah.
It's the entire control of his consent, his ability to make his own choices.
And Dumbledore, however, portrays this as her plotting her escape. To her, I think he was more than just this knight in shining armor. He was more than the rich boy from the big house that could come and take her away. Literally on his horse, when we see him, he's riding there
that is good,
like an actual medieval knight. So I think there was more than the romantic idea to that. I think it was a real escape plan.
See, that's why I think he's a toy to her, because he's a possession.
Maybe a tool would be a better...
Yeah, maybe. Okay, a tool. For her, he is something that she wants. He is, like you said, this ideal of the escape. Mm-hmm. But it's not about her running away to be with him.
No.
It's about her running away to possess him.
And to get away from her family in the same way.
And she thinks she'll find happiness with this thing that she wants to own. To her, he's not really a person.
No, she's not even spoken to him at this point.
There's no individual part of him No, she doesn't appreciate him. No. She appreciates him on aesthetic. So she likes the way he looks. And she likes the idea he represents.
Yes, I think that's the more important part. She likes the idea of him being a way out for her, a way out of her family. And that turns her into a criminal and into an abuser.
Do you think that it's that she wants, in a way, to be him as well? Like the idea that he has this family, that he has this girl with him on the horse, doesn't he?
He has the money.
And the freedom.
The freedom to ride around.
Yeah. Do you think that it's more than just wanting to have him? She wants to be him?
She definitely wants that life. All of these things are why I think she's such a fascinating character. Because I do feel sorry for her. But she is such a tragic character. And I really like the nuance that J.K. Rowling put into her story.
See, you call her tragic, I call her pathetic.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
I don't find her interesting.
Because you're a Gryffindor, you just can't deal with weak-minded people who aren't brave and stand up for themselves.
See, I don't expect her ever to be brave and stand up for herself, but to her father or her brother. I can completely see why she doesn't, and why she ends up trapped by them. But at the end, when she is living on her own and she has this option, she does make the choice to become them. And that's where I can't forgive her and I can't pity her. No. Not just saying that what she did was horrible, but who she is wrong.
Yeah, she's not a good person.
And she's not something that I can pity her anymore. Because yes, what happened to her was deplorable, but she made a choice.
Yes.
And like it says, it's our choices that make us who we are.
I don't forgive her, and I don't think she's a good person, but I still feel sorry for her.
Sorry, tea.
We all understand tea. I still feel sorry for her, and that's, I think, where the difference comes in how we see them. As a character, she is super interesting. She's only in 2 chapters, but...
we've already talked about this for, nearly 10 minutes?
Yeah. There is a lot
clearly a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
I wonder what Tom Riddle would have turned out to be had she survived.
I think he would have been her next abuser.
Yeah, I think he wouldn't have changed at all.
He would have been very much like his uncle and his granddad.
I just don't think that anything would have changed, really. Mm-hmm. He would still have hated her. Because,
he might even have murdered her like he murdered the rest of his family in the end.
Yeah, she would have raised him in poverty as well.
And she probably would have still been completely heartbroken and not really putting her love and energy into raising her son.
And how do you learn how to be a good parent if the only role models you've ever had have beaten you and trapped you and...
Yeah.
Wow, is this really depressing?
It is
really depressing, isn't it?
But it's one of the most real parts of Harry Potter, I think. The entire story of the Gaunts is so good. That's why I really wanted to talk about her.
I think there's a lot of very real parts of Harry Potter, for all it's a fantasy.
Yeah.
No, she's good. It's a good... Well, no, she's not good.
No,
Take
I
that
think
back.
we both agree that she's not a good person.
Maybe you're nicer than me. Let us know if you despise everything about her, if you find her as compelling as Claudia does. You want to think more about her, I want to cast her away. No. Okay, shall we end there?
Yeah, we will.
Alright, thank you for watching.
Bye.